it has been a while. I forgot how hot it gets in here.
Yeah. It's not even really that hot outside. I mean, compared to the past few weeks.
No, just in the lava dungeon that we are shooting on set for the movie that we just watched.
I hope it's not going to be too echoey.
That won't be nothing for the Disney remake of Quarterback Princess with Helen Hunt that we watched. No, it won't be too echoey. Like, it's compared to when I shoot in the kitchen and it's very echoey. But it doesn't matter. I'm usually stuffing my face with food when I'm doing those videos. So really, sound quality doesn't really matter in the food videos. So this movie, Mulan, although maybe we should do a special midnight screenings review of the classic Quarterback Princess sometime.
What is that? I feel like you told me about it.
Oh, it's the one where Helen Hunt... It is just like Mulan, only if it was about high school Helen Hunt joining the football team.
Okay,
it's kind of the little giants of the 80s.
Why does it have to be princess too? Like quarterback princess?
I don't remember if she was royalty in it per se.
No, it's just because she's a girl.
It was
quarterback diva.
It was Wildcats meets just one of the guys. Except I don't think she was dressed. I don't think she was dressing like a guy in there. They're just kind of like, oh, the title says she's royalty. She can join the football team. So, all right, Mulan. Like, the benefit of talking about the Disney live action Mulan is really compared to some of the other remakes of these that we watched. It's really kind of uphill. I mean, it's gotten to the point where it's actually been at this point for a while, but it has gotten to the point where it's like, if it's one of these movies and it doesn't completely screw up, it's like, well, 4 stars. One of the best movies of the year.
After we watched it, I was like, I was just saying, well, maybe it's just because I have such a low bar for these live action movies that I'm, like, not upset with this one at all.
See, you should be in my position, because it's kind of doubly so. Like, yeah, we had Lion King and Dumbo and Beauty and the Beast, which you and I didn't care too much for. But doubly so with me, in that it's also uphill if the last couple movies you watched are My Brother's Crossing and Tulsa. Like, well, there was no scene. In this movie, you can see the action. There's not characters just standing there going, whoa, look at that fire.
This movie is basically Mulan in a Marvel movie.
Thank you. Well, it's... I don't want to say, like, Mulan in a Disney movie, because that's redundant. But okay, so...
I guess spoilers are okay because it's basically the same movie, right? So
here's the thing. I should say this right off the bat, which is that, and it's part of why I'm glad that you're here too. The 1998 one is, you'd say it's sentimental to you, right?
Oh yeah, very much.
Me, no. I've seen. Don't get me wrong. I like the movie fine. It's not sentimental to me at all. I've only seen it twice. I saw it when it came out, and I saw it like...
With me.
Yeah, like, I don't know, a year or so ago when we watched it.
Springfield.
Never saw Mulan 2, or the Good Times version, and whatever the knockoff versions that they have. So the couple times I watched it, it was one of those movies that I watched it and liked it fine, and never really thought about it much since. So if I was watching this by myself, I wouldn't be able to review it in the sense that I'm comparing it to other things from the original, because honestly, it's not like a lot of it has stuck with me from the 1998 version. So in watching it with you, when you were sitting there going, oh, okay, here's where they're going to do this, here's where they're going to do that, here's this character, here's that character, I was going, well, she's keeping me up to speed on this, because it kind of would have gone over my head. I would have been like, where's Eddie Murphy at?
Perks of having a 90s.
It's like I'm the one sitting there going like 0 Donny Osmond, 0 stars.
They do have a
Ming-Na Wen.
Easter egg
yeah.
of the voice of Mulan. She was in it. I didn't realize that was her, because I don't know what she looks like. But yeah, so...
Oh, I watched The Single Guy on NBC. I know who she is. Right away, I picked up on that.
So there's a few things they changed. I don't know if you want this to be the kind of video where you're like, well, this is what they did different from this
I will.
one.
Well, not so much just kind of listing what's different, what's not, but was there anything necessarily that bothered you, really, that maybe this one would have done differently?
that bothered me.
Well, sure. I mean, well, you weren't sitting there pissed off, so I was going like, well, I guess she's probably fine with this movie.
No, I liked it. I actually really liked it. But like I said earlier, I have a pretty low bar for these live action.
So it didn't completely drop the ball.
No.
And you're like, hey, you know, it's the best Disney movie of 2020. Way better than Artemis Fowl.
You know what they needed?
It is. It is way better than Artemis Fowl.
What they needed was the synth score when she transforms.
I felt a couple times like it was getting close.
Yeah.
To like kind of a synth score.
Yeah, the transformation scene when she becomes, dressed as like a man was very anticlimactic for me.
Yeah.
That's something I was kind of...
And that's something I wouldn't have even thought about, really, just because, like I said, you've retained way more of the other one than I have, so...
That's
for all, I'm sitting there going, like, for all I know, this is exactly how the other one played out.
No, there's a lot of differences, I think, at least. I could see someone not liking it, but I personally...
I know Doug didn't like it.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, he doesn't like it. Yeah, the transformation scene in the animated one.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite scenes because I mean the synth in it,
Sure.
and then also just I don't know. I just felt like it was a really big moment in the movie. But this one, it was just like she's playing with the sword, and then
They get you in there quick.
yeah, it gets you in there quick,
They do.
and then it just cut to her fully dressed as a soldier.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, oh, I guess wait, is that her? Oh,
They spent some more time with, like, setting up the witch.
Yeah.
Like, all right, so in this, I did notice a way in this, because in the 98 one, it's the Huns thereafter, right?
I thought
And
it was the Huns in this one too.
No, they call them, like, the Rorons or something.
Okay, I didn't.
The name of the villains in it is like the Rorons that they said that they kept saying through the movie.
Okay.
And when it
I thought
started,
that was like his name or something.
since it was in live action and everything, I mean, it kind of set up fairly quick for like, I don't know about tone, but like how. All right, so one of the villains in this movie is this witch. But really, most people kind of have witch-like powers in this. Like, so when it first starts showing Mulan...
Their chi.
Yeah.
It's like superpowers.
Yeah, when it's showing, like, Mulan doing, like, Crouching Tiger mixed with the Jedi type moves at the beginning of the movie, I'm kind of sitting there going like, oh, all right, so it's kind of a superhero movie origin story, really.
I think there are some people that can like run on the wall.
Oh man, this is some Spider-Man shit.
Not like several hundred feet. I meant like they can like run on the wall for a second, like maybe like 5 feet or something.
Oh no, they might as well be like just like running up the side of the Sears Tower or something like that.
I don't know. I didn't mind.
No,
neither. Kind of set it up.
Neither do I. Yeah, they do. But it made me think like really the only difference between like a witch and Mulan and some of the other people in it is the witch can turn into animals.
Well, she can also become a person that like hypnotize them.
Give it time, like maybe the others can start doing that too. so at the beginning when the dad says to Mulan, going like, you gotta stop that, they're gonna think you're a witch, and I'm going, well, I don't blame them.
Yeah, the difference with this one is, so she's already like basically a Marvel superhero when she's like a kid.
Yeah, man.
There's no like she in the animated version you see her as kind of just kind of different, like she doesn't really want to be like get matched with anyone. She just kind of wants to be independent, and she's not really known for right away for being very like a Marvel superhero. But
in this she starts out as Wonder Woman.
Yeah, she's like an 8-year-old girl, and she's like Wonder Woman. She's like scaling up buildings and like trying to catch this chicken, and then she like jumps and then catches herself somehow, and I'm like, whoa.
If Stallone decides to do a director's cut of Rocky 2, I hope he re-edits the chicken chase scene exactly like this. Off the building rock! They're gonna think you're a witch! So, no, like, it's a few different, because when it's showing, when it cuts to the dude standing in the desert and everything, and the witch comes in and like possesses the guy who's like standing in the desert, I was sitting there going like, I feel like this is also part of the Dark Universe. Like, they're giving us a prequel to the Mummy from that movie. Here she is in Mulan times possessing people in the in the desert. If it ends with a post-credit stinger with someone slapping a file on the table, you open it up and it's Tom Cruise. You know, maybe I'll be on board for this.
It's Tom Cruise in Mulan.
Well, when the witch is talking to Mulan, even like the witch talking to Mulan, going like trying to seduce her into the dark side, going like, yeah, this is like every Disney franchise put into one movie.
This is where Disney, yeah, it's definitely a Disney, like a modern day Disney.
Yeah, it is. You got Marvel in there, you got Star Wars in there. Honestly, if no one knew anything about this and you showed them a few select scenes of it, like with Mulan and the Witch and a few other things, you could probably convince them this is a Star Wars spin-off series.
Yeah.
like this is taking place sometime after the events of The Mandalorian. And it was some parts, I don't know how you felt about this. There were some parts of it that did look good.
No, the scenery was beautiful.
Yeah, sometimes.
I thought.
In the third act, especially, when it's getting into the battle sequences, I mean, aside from the fact that you go into this knowing these are going to be extremely bloodless battle sequences.
I can see why it's PG-13, I guess.
It's a soft PG-13.
It's very soft.
Like,
you
granted,
get a little bit of nudity. Not like nudity, but you definitely see her change because she was taking a bath by herself. And there's like a conveniently placed
Austin Powers flower standing there. Like, yeah. So, but in terms of how the movie looked and everything, when in the third act especially, like some of the battle scenes, like, I mean, the movie's not going to be as graphic as like Braveheart or something, but I wish. No, but some of those looked cool, and I was certainly getting more so invested when some of that was going on. There were some very, very, very good shots in the movie where she's banished at one point and it's very foggy and the row of soldiers are standing there and she's got her back turned. That was a very, very good shot. There was some shots that were relatively inconsistent because there might be a really epic shot and then kind of a clumsy close-up followed after some. And even some parts where you'd get a pretty epic looking establishing shot and then some horseback riding shots where it's like this close to looking like a rear projector in the background and she's on just kind of a dummy horse standing sitting there. I mean, that's, you know, I'm just kind of talking about like just, you know, kind of for the sake of just talking about the movie. It's not like I was sitting there going, man, this is ruining the movie for me.
I was telling you, I was a little concerned about the witch at first because I didn't know if it was going to do that whole Lion King thing where they're just like, we gotta make it different somehow. I don't know, a female villain instead. And
sure.
So I thought that that's what they were going to do. But no, she has like a pretty good arc in this movie. Yeah. And I actually kind of liked that character. I don't know how you felt about that. But.
She was fine. It's kind of like a lot in this movie. I wasn't really sitting there necessarily thinking that I was having a bad time watching it or anything. A lot of what was going on, I just simply thought was fine. I wasn't mad really at any of it, but I also wasn't sitting there loving a lot of it. Wasn't thinking I was wasting my time really, because there were some good shots in it and there were some good fight scenes and there's likable enough characters in the movie. But for the most part, I was sitting there feeling like this is an obligation watch. I'm watching this because I have to watch it. I'm watching it because I gotta review it.
I would watch it because Mulan is one of my favorites of the animated ones of the 90s. I'm just saying of the 90s, not as a whole, you know.
I do remember that one part where we were kind of worried, where, this is towards the end of the movie, where, someone says to her, like, so what is your name? And it's kind of a close-up shot on her. Like, a really lame movie would use that and be like, so what's your name? Close-up shot on her, smash cut to black, Mulan. Like, I was sitting, and then when it didn't, I looked at you and went, I so thought for a second.
Yeah, because that's what I thought too. I was like, oh no, don't do that.
Don't do this, movie. Don't do this. Are they ever sort of Mulan Skywalker? Of course it is. Sure.
A lot of the score, like at least the parts where she's doing something really, powerful or cool. Like a lot of the score is to the tune of Reflection.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's Reflection. Yeah, I haven't heard the whole Christina Aguilera cover, but
when it was the battle sequence, I was wishing there was a catchier, like, I don't know, musical score that was playing throughout it.
Yeah,
because
I like the score throughout the movie.
But I'm thinking back to how much because it's got a moment in here that you could maybe compare to the that scene in Wonder Woman, the No Man's Land scene.
Oh.
And that, which is a great scene in and of itself, especially because when that musical score kicks in.
Yeah, you're
right. This could have been a good build-up like that. And it is a good scene. But having some kind of better score in there would have... Yeah. I mean, I thought Wonder Woman was a much better movie than this anyway. But that was just kind of one thing I thought really could have elevated a lot of scenes in this movie. And most of the soundtrack, you recognize that it sounded like the song from the other one. I never would have picked up on that.
What is it? The first song, I think, in Mulan, the one that's Let's Bring Honor to Us All or something.
Yeah.
When she's getting ready to, meet the matchmaker, they kind of do a little bit of it to the tune of that.
I'm the guy who's sitting there going, like, when she rides back into her village at the end, I'm the one sitting there hoping that she turns and just goes, "Hey, me gosh!"
What?
That one's just for me, honey. I do need to show you Willow sometime.
Oh, right. I haven't seen that.
That's
when you said that, I was like, what?
That one's just for me.
Aww.
I love that movie.
What else is it? Oh, so another comparison to the first one. So when she's meeting the matchmaker and there's a cricket.
Was it Jiminy Cricket?
No. The Lucky Cricket.
Yeah.
He ends up being in the tea, like, taking like a jacuzzi thing.
Oh,
Not
yeah,
jacuzzi,
yeah.
but like a hot tub kind of thing.
Yeah.
And instead of the cricket, they have a spider come down.
Oh, yeah.
So like they still do a bug kind of scene with that.
Yeah.
But this her sister, which different from the animated version, I don't think she has a sister, unless they talk about her later. But yeah, so the sister's like really deathly afraid of spiders. So like there is a bug scene in the tea matchmaker scene. What else I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, I was telling you, I was like, now it's time for them to do the live action version of the sequel.
Yes.
That movie is awful.
If they started doing live action remakes of the Disney sequels, I would be all about like this trend that I hate, the live action sequels. But if they started doing Mulan 2 and like Beauty and the Beast 2 and shit, give us that like unfinished Dumbo 2, but make it live action. They're in the city now. At least they're not doing, at least from my perspective, which is minimal, they're not doing, unless you could tell me differently, like, not like Beauty and the Beast or The Lion King, where it's kind of just scene for scene.
It is not like Lion King. It is not like Beauty and the Beast. Like,
like, don't you compare it to this shit.
No. For one thing that makes it really different, it's PG-13. It's soft PG-13. There's no songs.
Yeah.
And also, the Mushu. There's no Mushu. It's a little bit more of like a mature tone to it.
Yeah. So
and it really isn't like, it's not like the line for line version where, like how Lion King.
You're seeing the same movie.
It's like the same movie, but worse. Like you're like, Emma, what's her name? Emma Watson. Wait, is that her name?
Yeah.
Emma Watson singing. Okay, but this is way worse.
Of this group of movies, I still say the best one is Pete's Dragon.
I didn't see that one, so
I like that one a lot.
This one's the best one for me, but
honestly,
like I said, a low bar. So
no, it is. But if you were to ask me which would I rather watch again, I would honestly probably rather watch Aladdin again than this, the live action Aladdin.
I forgot about Aladdin.
And it's not even that I really liked that movie all that much. And to tell you the truth, there were scenes in that movie that I rolled my eyes at way more than really anything in this one. This movie has just in Aladdin, yeah, in Aladdin, there were scenes I rolled my eyes at way more than I did in this. This I don't think I ever really did necessarily. This movie is just kind of on this consistent tone for me of just being like, this is fine. This is something I'm watching for the night. I have really no desire to watch this again, nor am I upset that I watched it. Whereas Aladdin, there were things about that movie that I disliked really more than anything in this, but there were things about it that I probably enjoyed more than this movie at its height. And I just remember a lot more about that movie and would probably be more quick to put it on, despite its flaws, that there's more flaws in that than there are here. But I don't know, between Will Smith being pretty good and some other things in that, I'm like, if you asked me, I think I'd just be more entertained by watching Aladdin again than I would this movie.
It's more, like hyper, or I don't know if that's
it is. I mean, it is a different tone than this film,
and it's also a little bit more colorful. And there's a lot of, and you have Will Smith. Will Smith is always cool.
Yeah, and that's not a knock on this, because they're both doing, like, in terms of its color and everything. Yeah, Aladdin's supposed to be a much brighter movie than this. This, with the tone that they've set, yeah, it's supposed to be a much bleaker looking movie than the other film. I was glad you were there for a couple of lines. What was the one line that a character said where I'm sitting there?
Mulan?
Yeah, in this movie, where I was thinking in my head, like, what a very modernish kind of joke. And before I even said anything, you go like, oh, that's a line from the original. I'm like,
which one was that?
Something about women in cooking.
Oh, so in the movie, the song, like, oh gosh, the one where they're talking about a girl worth fighting for. That's what it's called. So, like, I think his name is Jim Poe or something. He says, like, I don't care what she looks like, I just care what she cooks like.
That's it.
That was what it was.
Like
and I was like, oh, that's from that song.
I was going, that's like, okay. And you go like, yeah, you're like, oh yeah, that's from the other one. Like, oh, okay. Like, it kind of threw me off because it was such a different line than everything else in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was kind of sitting there going, well, I hope they don't do that with, like, oh, we're gonna make a grittier Hunchback of Notre Dame, but we're gonna still keep in hold the wine and cut the cheese.
No, I don't think they'll do that. I mean, they took out Mushu for this one.
Are you all right with them taking out Mushu?
I did love Mushu, but
Yeah.
I was like pretty young when I saw it. This is the first movie I remember seeing.
Yeah.
Like that and Toy Story. This is one of the first movies I remember seeing. And, of course I love Mushu because I'm, a dumb kid, so, like, of course I'm gonna like him. Mm-hmm. And also, like, a lot of the stuff is fresh in my memory because I showed Mulan, the animated version, to the kids I take care of.
Yeah.
And that's all they watched for, like, 5 months straight.
Oh, so you know this.
Yeah. I was like, all right, if I want to have a lazy day, here's Mulan, here you go. Because they'd be like, Mulan, Mulan. I'm like, all right, you win. But I don't care.
I'm the guy, like, if they decide to do a remake of the 1978 classic Jennifer, I can be the one to say, oh, look, here's where it's different. See, the snakes actually come into play way later than they do here.
What did you think of the actual character, Mulan? Did you think
she was fine?
I thought she was a little stale, a little boring.
I thought she was solid in the action scenes.
I was gonna say the action scenes were pretty good in this.
Yeah, and when she's dressed like a guy, I guess she could probably pull off like a 13, 14-year-old guy, maybe. But again, that wasn't bothering me that much because I could kind of say that about just one of the guys or something like that.
Or when Zach Morris dresses up as a woman.
Joanna Man. Yeah. So would you recommend this?
To people that are, my best friend, she's like a hardcore fan of Mulan. Like, that's her favorite Disney movie of all time. So I would tell her, yeah, she should check it out. But people that are just, like, indifferent to it, I'd be like, or, like, don't really care that much about Disney anyways, I'd just be like, yeah, think you should.
If you're like that, don't spend $30 on it.
Nah. I would say, yeah, if you're just a fan of the movie or just a Disney, like, really into Disney movies, then definitely check it out.
Uh-huh.
If you're, it's worth it.
If you're kind of like me, where, you know, it's certainly not something I regretted watching by any means.
I regret this.
Oh, God, do I regret this? Worst mistake.
It's like a hangover.
Yeah. Oh, God. That's why I kept getting up to get sick. I need fast food quick. So, no, if you're like me, and you're kind of, I guess, neutral on the other movie, on the 98 one, you don't need to be spending $30 on this. I think in a couple of months, I think it's just going to be on regular streaming as opposed to having to pay the extra $30.
Yeah, I heard on the radio it's supposed to be for Disney Prime subscribers. It's going to be just available, I think, sometime in a couple of months.
Yeah, just wait around for that. Just wait around for that. If I saw this in a theater, I don't think I would have been like, yeah, you need to pay full price tickets to go see this. I maybe would have said, like, maybe see it on maybe wait for the cheap seats or wait for it to be on streaming. But it is on streaming, but you don't need to pay the extra $30 for it. But again, like, if you wait a couple months, I mean, for me anyway, like, if you're just if you're not in a rush to see this, if you're not that nostalgic for the other movie, you can wait a couple of months and just kind of stream it on your regular service, your regular Disney Plus subscription.
I think I liked it more than you, but I also like which it could have been actually, like, way worse if because I love Mulan, the animated version. If it sucked, I would have fucking hated this movie. But it was different enough, nostalgic enough, where I thought it was a good balance there.
Well, I'm sure you and Doug will have a lot to talk about on the charity stream tomorrow.
He just, like, throws a chair at me or something, like, what the hell? Get out of my house. And you just come to me like, Doug wants you to leave.
I was going to say, well, that'll give us something to talk about on this 10-hour stream. And I'm like, I can't talk about this. I can barely talk about this for 20 minutes. Now, some of the other ones, absolutely. All right. Well, it has been a while since we've done this.
Oh, God, too long. I mean, like,
did you miss
rusty.
This? You're like, I hated doing this.
No, it depends on the movie.
Yeah. Oh my God, there's some times where I'm just like, I don't know what I'm gonna say about this movie.
I like doing this, but like, when there's something where I really have nothing to say, I'm just like, yeah.
I used to there would be times when I would do that with, like, Sarah, where I'd be like, oh my God, thank God she has so much more to say about this movie.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember which ones off the top of my head, but I know that there was at least a couple where it was kind of like, oh my God, I'm glad I'm seeing this with, like, someone who has way more to say about the movie. All right, well, we got some other reviews up. Check out our review for Tenet, just ones I did myself. Tenet, Tulsa, that was a fun one to review. And what's the one I put? Oh, My Brother's Keeper. Oh my God, yeah. Check out the reviews for My Brother's Keeper and Tulsa, and that was fun. See you later.
Bye.